What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
It's Thursday.
Brother Empowerment Day.
Right. So if this is your first time tuning in, this is Brother Empowerment, where we uplift our brothers. This is not one of them bashing shows where we talk about what you shouldn't do and all of that, but it's about having a healthy conversation where hopefully you walk away with some enlightenment or say, you know what, I didn't consider that, and that's something good. Yep. As you can see, we already have some guests on, but before we introduce them, bro, how was your week?
Man, my week has been really, really dope, man. Like, as a matter of fact, you saw each other twice this week. Mm-hmm. So far, well, this will be the third time, and I had a good family day on Sunday, and started back working out with my man Keon. You know, his wife wasn't doing too well, so he had to take off and, you know, and take care of her. But now he's back in action. She's better, so I'm back working out at the Jim Johnson out in Henderson at Uncle's house. So yeah, man, it's been a great weekend. Spent some good time, some chicken wings with a, you know, yeah.
Yeah, and he's safe.
and enjoyed myself. Had some great company, you know, during this week. So it was great. It was great. It was great. So, but yeah, no, this week has been really good. And, but yeah, how about yourself, bro? How was your week, man?
You know, this week actually it started off a little rocky. Mm-hmm. I had a rough last week. It seemed like everything that could go wrong went wrong, mm-hmm. and that spilled over until the weekend. Me and my wonderful, beautiful wife of 12 years got into this amazingly heated argument on Sunday. Ooh. So you know how those weird transitions are. You like, you mad, or you mad? You know? So that started it off week because, you know, like if your house is like not right, mm-hmm. you're not right. And so it was like we had to get that right because I was like, I can't create, I can't think, I can't do anything. And so that started off. But then after that, mm-hmm. it seemed like this has been kind of like an amazing week. I just got off of an opportunity to speak at my alma mater.
Yes.
So that was dope. For those who don't know, I am a graduate of Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. That's in the heart of Columbia, South Carolina, mm-hmm. home of the Benedict College Tigers and the legendary J. Dwayne Garnett. So I did get an opportunity to speak there. We actually had 3 couples to sign up for the love advocacy training this week. We had 2 podcasts that interviewed us this week that's reached out to us from New York and from Houston, Texas. So I'm actually excited about that. So we've been doing a lot of great things. This week really turned around. Like maybe I should argue with my wife every Sunday. Get ready, baby. We arguing this Sunday. But it actually has been a dope week. But enough about us, man. Let's talk about our people. I hate to do this to you, Ricky, but I'm going to do it just 1 minute. There you go. Because we got to let ladies go first.
Yeah.
There you go. Agreed.
Who's in that wonderful house. I can't wait to come visit.
You come play the piano.
So this is huge because this is your first official time on here as a guest. So you made a cameo for said person's birthday.
Which I will forever appreciate. Leo gang, I'll forever
She came with the shades and the hat?
Yeah, everything.
She poured a little bit of Mary and the J and the Blige.
Yep. Give the people what they wanted for a little bit and then let them wanting more and dipped out.
Right. So tell the wonderful people who you are, what you do, and all those wonderful things.
Oh, I'm Kimberly. I connect with people. That's what I do.
Now, if you act silly and you know I'm going to tell it all, I'm going to pull it out. Tell these people who you are, ma'am.
I am, okay, so I have a podcast, Coffee and Collaborations podcast. Mm-hmm. I have a media company, Coffee and Collaborations Media. We also have a TV show called Love and Flow TV. And that's all ladies, but we have great conversations with the fellas. We just have great conversations across the board. Coffee and Collaborations has been going since April 2018. It started off as a radio show. I am in finance and communication, so I like to help people make money and be stewards of it so that they can leave a legacy that they're extremely proud of. They can actually leave one instead of bills. They can leave some benefits. So that's who I am, and that's what I do. Is that enough, Jay?
It is, guys. She be tripping. Kim is the networker connector. She has several different businesses that she has started. She actually was the third person that I met up here, and to be honest, she was one of the people that was very instrumental in my wife and I actually starting Love is Apparel, because she encouraged us behind the scenes. She knows almost everything and anything about what's going on here. She is an RDU native. She is a HBCU grad, and she's a member of Alpha, Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She is actually a singer. For those who don't know, she actually was part of a fantastic singing group, so she does have the pipes. She can do all of those things as well, and she's a model, and we're going to see about her getting into some acting soon as well. And she's a wonderful mother.
Okay, all right, I'll take all of that.
Don't play no more.
Yeah.
Don't play no more. Don't have me to do it. See, we about to already argue. Ricky, before I argue with her, Ricky, what you about to say, Kim?
I was gonna say the main thing. No, I one thing that I do want to add is that I'm in ministry. My group is called the Praying CEO, and I am proud of that group. I'm proud of what we're doing for women in business who just want to come together, pray over our businesses monthly. We've been going strong since December 2016, and I've been pushed out into ministry. So I do want to add that.
Okay, evangelist Winborn. She's been in the anyway.
Yes.
Ricky, is on you with the dopest beard.
You know what I'm saying?
So far.
Beard gang.
Strong tonight. Well, currently I work for UNC School of Medicine, and there I support underrepresented groups within the medical school. But I also am a part of Change the Head, Change the Heart, a group of amazing people that incorporate community conversations about race and kind of bringing everything and everyone back together. Mm-hmm. And also on the other side, I have a YouTube channel called Fantastic Fermentations, where I talk about all things beer, all things brewing, all things fermentation. So if you need recommendations on drinks, how to make those drinks, whether it be from scratch or halfway from scratch, I got you.
Yeah, I met this dope brother through the guys who guys remember Tamara was on the show for Uncle Marcus's birthday. Mm-hmm. And Tamara is also one of the founders of Change the Heart, Change the Mind.
Change the Head, Change the Heart.
Change the Head, Change the Heart. Who was actually wonderful, who started also with Carla Tuttle, who we're going to have to get on the show as well. Mm-hmm. And I met this gentleman, and guys, I am fascinated with his whole life, because not only does he do all those things that he talk about, but he actually be building stuff with his kids. It's quality stuff, and I'm like, he don't even know that's my new best friend.
They are my assistants. They do well, and that's my part of being a good dad. I'm hoping they're enjoying it, and I hope they continue to enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely.
I like how he said that's part of being a good dad. So you already know he's a good dad, because he makes those fermentation drinks, I guess, organic fermentation.
Yes, you can't be a good dad if you ain't got a good beer around.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if you make a good ginger beer, because there's only one place that had that particular ginger beer, and I don't go there anymore. So if you make a good ginger beer, I'm just trying to say you might be a feature on Brother Empowerment all the time. Like, I'm gonna leave and just be like, Ricky, it'll be Ricky and Cordell.
Hey, if you make a good root beer, I might just have to set up a budget just for you.
Dude, I got my root beer is special. I use honey instead of sugar to sweeten my root beers. Oh, adds a different kind of touch to it. So yeah, I got y'all.
I'm already thinking about how I can allocate some of my monthly budget to that. So I have to get on the YouTube channel. I have to get with you, man, because that's my weakness right there when it comes to sugary drinks is root beer.
I will have y'all on. We could do a root beer and we could do a ginger beer. How that sound?
Oh, we lit.
You had me at ginger.
Yeah, you know, we lit.
Done. Check. Y'all in.
Look, so bro, go on and see who we got on. I'll be going through the comments. What's going on, Maya?
So we have, let's see, we got Mama Garnett is on. We have Adrian is on. Hey, Adrian.
Hey, Adrian.
We got Nichelle is on. Hey,
Nichelle.
Of course, Maya, you already said her. We got Rashia on.
Hey, Rashia.
See, we got my man Deshaun is on. What's up, bro? So we got Kerwin, aka Superman is on.
Superman.
What's up, bro? Let's see, Joey is on. What's up, Joey? Omar is on. What's up, Omar, man? And that's all I can see for right now.
So that beard is strong.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Look, got another one for the root beer.
Yeah, what's up, Sean? Yeah, so we lit.
Look, my mama all the way in New York talking about she wants some ginger beer and some root beer too.
Man.
I know she can't wait till this COVID is over because she gonna bust all in North Carolina open. I just realized something. I did this and I didn't even look at any other topics. So it's fine. It'll just work itself out because I figured it out. So what we do, a couple of things that we need to talk about too. First, the census. Guys,
Yes.
Because of COVID, the census was cut short. And so for you guys who don't know, the census actually determines governmental funding in particular areas. So if you haven't done the census, please make it your due diligence to take care of the census. You actually can go online and take care of the census, even if you didn't get it in the mail or something like that. You actually can go online. It's very simple to complete. All you have to do is put in your address and put in some qualifying questions, and you can go ahead and fill out the census online. That is very important. Not only does it go with the governmental funding, but it also goes directly to representation. So you want to make sure that your particular area that you're living in is adequately represented when it comes to decisions that are being made. Remember, we live in a republic. So that means we choose representatives to speak on our behalf. Right. So it's very important to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to make sure that, one, you're in a place being represented, and then two, we have proper representation that actually lends its way right into voting. So if you're new to the area, make sure that you go ahead and register to vote. If you know that you're not going to make it to the polls on November 3rd, make sure that you go ahead and get prepared for your absentee ballots. Fortunately for North Carolina, you can always submit and register for absentee ballot or voting by mail. You can always do that, but it officially starts September 4th. So you can go ahead and get that taken care of. That is actually a form that you can fill out as well online, but you will have to sign it. So if you don't have some type of signing apparatus with your computer or anything, you will have to print that out, and then you can scan it in and actually email it to the office where you don't have to worry about mailing it in. So make sure you guys go ahead and take care of all of that so you will have the proper representation that you need in your area. Yeah, absolutely. That's all for, what is this? News on love? I don't know. That's all we have. Mama said you are absolutely correctly right. See? You heard it here. I have bees and get my own honey. I can trade honey for the root. Thank you for focusing on the situation at hand, Sean.
We're bartering on our live.
Okay, so now that we've got the census and the voting out of the way, one of the things that we wanted to talk about from last time is talk about ways that we can build each other up during a pandemic.
During this pandemic. Well, I'll say the first thing really is just that pops into mind to me is just tapping in with people. A simple "How are you doing?" or "Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while," or "Hey, just how are you holding up?" goes a long way. I mean, I've reached out to people just because they've been on my mind or whatnot, and they had started conversations, and it has created like a bridge for some people. And other people are just happy that someone reaches out to them because maybe they have been in a rut and nobody has really reached out to them, or maybe they do all the reaching out and no one reciprocates that. So the first thing that comes to mind is tap in with people. Just a simple text, a phone call, even a Facebook messenger or message through Messenger. Hey, how's it going? I know that not everybody has everyone's phone number or wants to initiate that kind of contact. So even a simple message can go a long way. So I reach out to people just on a drop of a dime. I'm thinking about you and I have your information. It's nothing for me to just say, hey, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in a while or whatever. So that's definitely one ways that you can stay just connected with people, and that helps tremendously.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think a lot of times we overthink it. Like, we overthink connecting with people, reaching out with people, all of that, and everything you just said is on point, and people do appreciate that, and they're quite shocked. It's been a lot happening, and all of us have our up and down days, and somebody come to your mind, you reach out to them. That could have been a day that they really need somebody to reach out and say something, because it could be a bad day. So that's I totally agree with you.
Yeah. I would say another thing is as simple as to shift from the back porch to the front porch. So instead of me and the kids playing in the backyard, we moved out to the front yard, sitting on the porch as people are walking by. We met I've lived in this house for 8 years, and I met neighbors that I didn't even know, and had opportunities to check with elderly people that are around me. So we can't forget about them. So I think being intentional and making yourself visible is another great thing, or a way to check up on people or to meet new people.
Yeah, I think in the grocery store. Speaking of that, like grocery store, whenever you go out or whatever, people act like they can't speak to each other because they have the mask on and all of that. And so I find myself like, hi, how are you? Even through the mask. And, I was in a store today, and a lady, we just kept being on the same aisle, and just that little bit of engagement, we just kept laughing each aisle. I sound real country, but anyway. And so just engaging in that way too, in the stores and all of that, just saying hello, it's okay.
Yeah, I will admit that there are certain parts of the COVID restrictions that I do like. I actually like the limited access and like navigating, because I am an orderly person and I like to know where I'm going, and I don't like, I like certain rules in place. And I think it has allowed me to meet more people because you have to follow rules, and like even like, oh, I'm not supposed to go up this aisle, and they're like, don't worry, me too. So things like that actually help you bond, like, because you don't want to be a rule breaker, and it's already frustrating because I have limited breath supply because I don't want to fog up my glasses. So I got to make sure I'm strategically breathing when I have this mask on. So I got to make sure I'm in and out and I'm following these rules, because I do something wrong, that's too much breath, and now I got to take my glasses off. And it be outside of I can't do it. So it actually has been a great opportunity, but I think the other part I liked about this, it forces me to reach out and communicate differently.
Yeah.
Whereas before there was a lot of assumptive communicating. And so now I have to be intentional with the way that I communicate with other people.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Holland said, he gave a link to learn about voting, Democracy NC. And then Michael Smith said 100.
What's up, bro? What's up, Mike, man? Especially
single people in big cities, what Sean said. Smile with a mask on. People can still see the smile in your eyes. Well, they definitely see it now, because my eyes disappear when I smile. It's just like, I love it. Let me get my things and go.
Some people do like it, but I think communication too. And then if you have people who are not opposed to having company, like I visit certain people, or I have people come by my house. I take precautions and stuff like that. I have a forehead scanner. I've got masks. I've got plenty of hand sanitizer. So I'm just saying, but I'm not afraid to let people come visit me, and that helps tremendously because I am a single man and I live alone. I don't have any pets. I don't have any kids, and so aside from my bro here, I don't have too many visitors that often. So, and at the start of the pandemic, I was pretty good, but then 4 or 5 months in, so when the summertime first hit, it started to get real heavy for him because one, I'm a warm-blooded person. I'm a Leo, born in August. So when the summertime comes, I'm lit normally, and then we have this pandemic, and I'm kind of stifled because I can't be the social butterfly that I normally am during the summertime when it's warm, or even the spring because we were locked down during the spring. So it really hit me hard. So, and I formulated some ways to kind of get around it by having visitors, by going to see certain people. Luckily, stuff kind of opened up a little bit, with their precautions and stuff. So it helps to have visitors and to go see people too. That helps take a lot of pressure off, in my opinion. Just because that's something that you get that interaction when you've been by yourself or just in a closed space for a long time.
He literally hands your forehead when you walk into the door. And it's delayed, so that thing be like, you've been sitting there like, okay, can I come in? Nope. And then he'll read your temperature to you. 98.6, you good.
Hey, because people literally ask, so if my temperature was too high, would you ask me to go home? Yes.
Yes.
I would. Yes.
You're like, your temperature a little elevated. You 99.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long you want to.
And come back so we can check. I actually had networking events.
What'd you say, Kim?
I actually did a couple networking events with physical distancing measures in place. I know for some people they prefer not to do that sort of thing, but I did. I had a few networking events over this time, and no reports of anybody getting anything there. So, we just made sure to wear the mask. We made sure to physical distance. We had hand sanitize. All the different things everywhere when they came in. We checked their temperature. So that was good for me because I'm an extrovert. So that was really good for me to be able to be around people, even though we couldn't hug and all of that stuff. So that was one thing I did.
And surprisingly, a lot of people don't realize that I'm really an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing real good. I was like working and creating away, just jamming by myself. And then I realized we got a couple of people that's connected, Love is a Parable. They can't handle being in the house by themselves. And I was like, bro, to have your life, that's like heaven by yourself. The things that I create. So yeah, we had to do some house business because it is a lot of extroverts that we had to just pull up on and that wasn't doing well. Seriously, we literally had to go see some people to make sure we checked on them to make sure that they're doing well. Because here's the thing, when they're an extrovert, they're usually being out. They don't know how really to reach out. Right. So it's a difference because they're usually out and about doing things. And so reaching out was kind of difficult for a lot of them. And we really did reach out to them and made sure that they're good. So we got our weekly check-ins. And this ties right into the next topic about positive words, encouragement. There are several people that are hurting right now for various reasons. Yeah. What are some encouraging words or some positivity you can throw out there to the people? Ricky, Kim? I let Ricky go first because Kim was drinking. Let us swallow.
I think. Well, what I've seen in this pandemic times where everybody's all locked down is everybody's had this kind of ingenuitive sense to them where they're motivated to do something new, or they're motivated to research or start like a hobby or something. And I think it's speaking into that, like finding out what people are doing and encouraging them to continue to dive into those things, because a lot of these things are people's real passions. I have people that are like, hey, I'm starting to dive into my music, and just saying, hey, pushing them into it, say, you're really good at that. I see this in you. Continue on and continue to check on them and see how they're doing on it, and to keep them motivated.
Yeah. You said positive stuff that we tell people, right?
Ways to encourage people. Some people are really hurting right now.
Yeah. Well, I agree with what he said, but then also like that checking in on people. Because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and I talk to a lot of my community is entrepreneurs. I noticed that a lot of people were getting uninspired and stuck. And of course, as a result, their businesses were kind of like, not flourishing. They couldn't pivot. That's like the key word, the buzzword for the year since it started, pivot. They couldn't. And so really having some one-on-one conversations with people or even some group sessions to just talk. Like we did that, just talk, like just express yourself. What do you have going on? What is it? Why are you stuck? Like what other circumstances might be able to change that? Kind of like this conversation, like you guys realizing who you were, like introvert, extrovert, and what you need. And then for some people, like in the hair industry, for instance, a lot of people didn't want to go back at all. So for some people who have careers where they're all around a whole lot of people and they have anxiety around being around people, they didn't want to go back at all. So it's like, well, what else do you do if you can't go back to cutting hair or, those things? So I really just try to encourage people to think outside of the box. First of all, to know that you're not alone. Let's come together in circles or, whatever. And let's pray for each other. Let's support each other. But then also, what else can you do right now while you have this anxiety, not wanting to be around people and all of that stuff to really get through? And just and people don't want you to tell them that they're dumb for feeling anxiety. People don't want them, they don't want to feel like an idiot because you're okay with going out and they're not. So just telling people it's okay wherever you are in this situation. Nobody's been here before. And so be okay with where you are and let's move from there. So that's really how I, encourage and inspire people, or try to.
And I will say, because you made me think about it, like right now it does seem, because a lot of people are at home, it's just like an overkill with like bashing and ridiculing and questioning every single thing. And so now is the time to highlight that. So those who have been, like, fortunately for Love is a Parable, we've been a social media organization and we were branching out to other places. So those who are not used to it, they are trying to find a new groove and they are attempting to pivot. So they are trying things. So there are several people who were not social media organizations who are trying now to do social media things to save their business, but also for sanity.
Yeah.
Just to maintain and just to get through. So if you see people that are trying things that are new, encourage them and support them, partner with them, help them. Now that is different from people. Now I do get it, because there are some people who are just totally out their lane. Like, now listen. Some things you do got to go to school for, y'all. Because some of y'all be trying stuff and you be like, no, you need to go. You need just at least one initial behind you. At least one. I'm sorry, at least two. It's at least two. You need an AA or BS or BA, something, or AS or something behind there, because there's certain things that people go to school for and they speak on and they do because they're skilled in that area. So that's a little bit different than finding your passion. Finding your passion may be like to go back and learn about that trade first before you start speaking on certain things and stuff. Now just go to school a little bit, learn something, because you can't just do that out of passion. Now some things you can do out of passion, but some things you can't. So, but for the most part, as a community, let's encourage some people that are doing things that are not damaging people, and they are skilled in learning and trying new things. Encourage them, to do stuff. Like we got to encourage Kim to start back singing again. She done started this. She's evangelist Wingborn. Wingborn. So she's gonna.
I sang when I led prayer the other day.
Oh, sing now.
No.
I thought she would get ready to hit it.
I already knew by her face. That is the pettiest woman y'all might know.
That is a lie. Don't believe him.
Why is she gonna tell me one day I am no longer gonna answer to petty? I will not subscribe to that.
I will not allow it.
And then right after that, she was petty. She's like, okay, that's petty, but after this, Kim is the pettiest person y'all know, guys. I just want to let y'all know
Only with you. Like, you can be petty with certain people because it's fun.
It's fun.
You can't be petty with everybody. Petty
connector.
So what?
The petty connector.
Whatever.
Hey, sister.
Hey, sis. What's up, Tara?
Ricky, that's your sister too.
I messaged you, sis. But I did.
Anyway, our favorite topic, bro.
That was
colorism.
Oh, it's opposite day. Okay, I got you. Yeah, colorism is something that's creeps its head into so many conversations, unfortunately. And there's just quite a few people who just don't seem to have a really big or tight grasp on the concept of colorism and who it affects most. So we could do a whole show on that, but I will say that it's alive and well, even in serious conversations, joking conversations, comedy. It's alive everywhere, unfortunately. And it's even rearing its head during this pandemic time, unfortunately, as if we didn't have other stuff to worry about. But yeah, so it's there, and it still sucks, and it's still damaging, and it's still not funny, and it's still a tragic and damaging heirloom of oppression. That's all I got.
Well, before I answer that, Sean said some people are suffering from COVID blur, where all these days are just running together. Yeah, because I have a frat brother who ain't left the house since this started, and I'm like, sir.
Yeah.
Like, only place he went is literally to the grocery store and back, and I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, and so some people are confusing these days and all of that. And Joey said, "Petty people unite." Kimberly.
Hey, Joey.
And Michelle, shut up. So
talking to you, Jay, when she said "petty people unite," though.
No, she was talking to you.
Yes, I think she was too.
Michelle was talking to me. That's why I told her to shut up. But Joey was definitely talking to you because you're the petty connector. You're the petty negotiator. But petty concierge. But the thing about colorism, what a lot of people don't really know is that colorism is rooted in racism. Mm-hmm. And in our community, especially the people of color community, Black, Brown, our Black, Brown communities, colorism is how you view a lot of things, and it could be an insult. Mm-hmm. And just because we were raised a certain way, that doesn't mean that we weren't raised in a response to racism. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's one of the things, like having my mom was very fair growing up. She's gotten a little darker. Like my mom couldn't even go to the flea market without getting a suntan, mm-hmm. Sunburn, stuff like that. So she taught us a lot. Fortunately, she did tell her story of the other side of the civil rights movement that we don't really see in the books, and how it was a little bit different for those who were lighter hued but were also Black. And unfortunately, yes, there is a such thing as color privilege and things like that that are associated with the lighter hue, but there's also a negative stigma, negative misrepresentation, and also some downright hurting things that are associated with color. So we definitely want to make sure that we don't make blanket statements and start really being sensitive to what other people feel. And it's not so much about, oh, I was just joking, because we are living in a time where there are several people. We had Lenora on the show. She wrote a whole book about fighting from darkness, which dealt with colorism. And that was a great account of how she dealt with it. I have two girls who are different complexions, and they were introduced to colorism at school. And, you know, in kindergarten, they found out about the different colors and things like that, and what is perceived beautiful and what is perceived ugly just on skin color. So we definitely have to have those conversations, but we have to be sensitive to it. And it's no joking matter. Like, me and him may joke, but we've had the conversation about it. And we quickly know that in certain environments, it's not funny and we shouldn't be having that. And we definitely need to make sure that we're uplifting and empowering someone.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you really hit on it when you started talking about, the kids, because we got to understand these things are taught. Mm-hmm. and they pick up on our cues. I've had some, one moment, kind of with my daughter, where my daughter and myself, we're closer in the same complexion, and my wife and my son and my 3-month-old daughter, they're of a lighter complexion. And I mean, she even came out once and said, do you know, if you, talking to my wife, if you had been in the 60s, then me and daddy wouldn't be able to drink out of the same water fountain as you. Like they were white, and we had to sit them down and like, oh no, this is, everybody comes in different shades. Just because I'm lighter doesn't mean that we're not the same, so it's those intentional conversations and constant battling back. I even bought crayons that, I don't know if y'all seen the crayons of the world with all the skin tones in it that kind of praise all the skin tones. So I mean, I even got my kids those, and any kids that were friends of our family, like, hey, here's something for your kids, so that you can kind of build that up to say, everybody is a different color and it's good. It's okay. There's nothing negative about it.
Yeah.
So we got to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
You want to say something, Kim?
I agree.
Okay.
Oh, no, I agree. I was just saying, yeah. And I mean, unfortunately, it does happen within the home and the family. The likelihood that people are getting it more so in school than home is very low. And so us learning how to speak to I love parenting classes. Like I love parenting classes. I love people that really want to get educated on how they can do things a little bit different. And it's not knocking your parents, but just giving you the opportunity to grow so that you know how to have these conversations with your children. And I remember being a little girl and being a little bit lighter than my mom, and people thinking that I was my aunt's daughter because I was lighter. And then I remember like I was 5 or 6 and I went to the pool, and it was so heavily, like I remember doing the test, like from the wrist to the other side and the differences, and my cousins kind of, sitting beside me and like, oh, you darker now. And it was like a bad thing. Like, oh, you darker now. And I was like, so, and it was like, no, see, because right here, this is what you were, and now you this. And so you black, and all of that stuff. And so it's taught in our family. So I was just thinking like, unfortunately it is. And so if we as parents can get educated as Black parents, especially, but of course we're not the only people that need education. But I was just thinking about that. Then we can really make a difference even more. If we understand our shortcomings, we can get educated and do better.
And Tara said, I watched a great interview with Eartha Kitt, Kitt's daughter, Kit Shapiro. She touched on some incidents of colorism. She looks absolutely white, and you know what Eartha looks like. Then to learn how Eartha was abused by her family due to her lightness, it was wild. They having a whole conversation. Terry, you can put the link in for the people who probably are not your friends. If you can find it. But I think I do agree with you, Kim, about in the home too. I think what was shocking to us is that when I went to school, certain things happened later on in life. And I was shocked when the kids are reading about the civil rights movement in kindergarten. Me personally, I don't think that a 5-year-old mind is ready to conceptualize race relations. I do think that we do need to check some traditional talking down to like, don't go outside, get too dark. I think stuff like that is offensive. Just like I do think, put on some clothes because so-and-so coming over, or change those shorts because, if we have to police our children around people, 9 out of 10, we don't need those people around. And if we are afraid of our children getting too dark, that means we don't appreciate their skin tone. Don't appreciate the beauty of us. One of the things that makes us human is the hue. And we come in a variety. And what I used to love about getting darker is that all brown skin, dark skin people tan differently. I turn like burgundy. I'm like, I turn burgundy. Whereas somebody else will turn a darker color. Like I have more of a red undertone. That's why I got to make sure the lighting right. Y'all see all these little spots that happen. You be like, man. But you learn about skin tone, especially doing graphic work, taking pictures, videos, and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
When you get into that, you start to quickly realize like how wonderful it is to be who we are, the way that we are. But there has to be an appreciation factor.
Absolutely.
And we have to teach that. We have to teach that. So, you talked about getting darker and how our hues are different. That's one of the things I had to teach Sophie when she started getting, my daughter, Sophie is 11, when she was maybe 7, I think, 6 or 7. And she really started understanding color a little bit more. And I remember her getting darker, over the summer, and people saying like, oh, you've gotten dark. Oh, you've gotten dark. And it wasn't that she didn't want to get dark because of, I hate being black or darker. She didn't want to get dark because she wanted to remain the same. She was like, I just want to be the same that I was, that I've always been. And I had to explain that was a moment that I could have just tore it all up. But I explained to her about the hues and how, look, when you get darker, oh, how beautiful, you have this little bronze undertone and look how pretty that is, baby, and I think now she celebrates it. She's 11 now, so she celebrates when she gets a tan and she gets darker and she appreciates being a black girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, my wife got, she got seasonal makeup. Because it happened. Like when the seasons change, her color change. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think that we gotta start just appreciating who we are and realize that there are some things that we're saying now. Like we may not have a negative intention behind it, but it doesn't mean it's not a response to racism and it's not rooted in bigotry. And we don't realize that. So we really need to take a moment to step back and kind of look at that. Yeah. Lapita Bay said exactly. It starts within our own. Chair said I almost got in the biggest kid fight because my lighter skin told her I thought I was better. Man, look. Oh, and she shared the link. Do you all know it's opposite for white people? We try to get darker. Yeah, we know that, Sean. Actually, and y'all want the curly hair and all. That's really part of the issue that we talk about. It seems like there is an appreciation for a lot of things that are black, except being black. And so that's where the issues come. Like, if you want the curly hair, you want the nice tanned skin, well, why is there such an unappreciation for those who are naturally, that way?
Yeah, I think I had a friend. She was I want to say she was Peruvian, and she said they celebrate darkness. So in their culture, when somebody is light, it's kind of like a not a great thing. They celebrate the darker hues. And so I remember when she met me and we had a conversation about colorism. She explained that, and I was like, wow. And she said she was just talking about how she doesn't understand America. And how it's so different there.
She's not the first person that's not from here to say that.
Right.
Interesting enough, I recommend people watching Queen. We watch Roots. A lot of us know about Roots.
Yeah.
But if you watch Queen, that's that back half that talks about Alex Haley's great grandmother or grandmother. I can't remember which one. But that's a good one on colorism. That can show you different things. Halle Berry played Queen. So that would be one I think that you guys will watch, and it would give you a great depiction of, and it's still present today. Colorism is still here.
Yeah.
So this one is going to be short. Men dating experiences in 2020, Cordell. Me and Ricky married.
Yeah, that's right.
Not a man.
I'm happy I ain't out here dating in 2020. It's crazy out here.
You gotta worry about STDs, pregnancy, and COVID.
So I was gonna say, because one of those, everything except COVID you said has been around since before.
I know, that's why I was glad to be off the market. I was like, ooh, safe.
So
take me off.
Outside of COVID, of course, because a pandemic is a pandemic. No one it's a pandemic, so no one wants to be around or experience that. So that's the obvious. So we'll just take that out. But so, I mean, it's a pandemic. I mean, so but I'll say this. So, I've been single for probably close to, I'd say about 3.5, maybe 4 years now. And so I will say that dating period is just a collection of experiences, bad, good, or otherwise. And some of those that you can affect the outcome of some of those experiences or how those go, and some you can't for things out of your control. You're dealing with other parties, so some things are not in your control. The only thing you control is how you respond, and by response, physical response or verbal response. So I will say that. I'll say that first about dating. But dating in 2020 is, I don't go on that many. I haven't been on that many dates this year. But the ones that I have been on have actually been pretty good. I think it's really just about finding someone that, or even a group of people if you're dating around, because dating is literally just going on dates. We got to get that out. Dating is not a relationship. Dating is dating. Dating is going on dates with people. That's what dating is. So, what?
No, I just like how you clarify that.
So I have been on. Thank you.
Let the word come forth, preacher.
This guy. So what I'll say is this: is that you're gonna run some people that the conversation is gonna run dry. The conversation is gonna be terrible, and it really just depends on first where are you actually looking. Now, of course, you can't go out. It's really hard to go out and meet people now during the pandemic. But really, social media. This is a time when really social media should be able to flourish. You can be in Facebook groups. They have dating apps and whatnot, and this really tests people's conversational skills. So now you can really get to know, to a degree, some people and figure out if you really even want to meet that person. So I would say that dating has not been, even though like I said, I haven't gone on too many dates, but I would say that as a single man, dating hasn't been terrible in 2020. I mean, it could be better because it's a pandemic, but it's not terrible. And it's really just testing your discernment and really how much you want to put into interacting with other people. Like, and I've been out on a couple of dates and it hasn't been bad. I mean, the whole, wearing a mask thing is not great, but it's still not a terrible experience, and it's still, you can make it a good time for you and the other person.
So I got a question. So the question was only about singles dating, single men dating, or because married people still have to date, and the pandemic could make it a little difficult, huh?
In the house.
It
was just about single men dating.
Right? Men dating
in 2020. So I mean,
okay,
yeah. So
we date in the house. We date in the house.
I mean, because that's a question too. Like, are you dating your wife while you still have this, pandemic scenario happening in 2020?
It's a great question, but it wasn't. I don't think it was a question that was asked.
But that's what I was asking. If the question, I wanted to get clarification.
Now see these Leos going back and forth. Look at Kim. Kim was about to get you. Look at her.
I was about to get him. See, you see how he starts stuff? He like instigating.
Yes.
I just had a question about the question.
It was a very respectful question too. You can't you articulate with it. It won't even petty.
Ricky, high five.
Ricky, you on thin ice, buddy. I
forgot I was already in trouble. My bad. It was petty.
Might as well stay there, right? You might as well stay in trouble.
Yeah, but to answer the question, like really again, in short, like and dating is literally what you make of it. So if you already going into that dating is trash in 2020 or whatever, or the dating pool is trash, whatever, then yeah, I mean if you're going into it with that,
you talking about you, Joey?
Yes, if you're going into it with that mindset, then you already are setting, you're speaking that to existence, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And one thing I will say. I'll say it's for people in general, and then I'm done off of this. When people say, the dating pool is trash or there's nobody out here, this or that, and they're single, it's hilarious to me because you're out here too. So you're literally calling yourself trash.
Not you, Miss Joey.
I'm not talking about anybody. I'm not talking about Joey. I'm talking about you. I'm just saying in general, when people say that.
He call you trash, but
no,
you're not trash.
See, yeah, why are you doing that?
You
man?
my dearest friend.
You are loved.
I'm just saying, she said it was terrible.
She said it was terrible.
Actually, it was ghetto.
Well, what's the saying? The saying goes, you get what you picture. The saying goes, to Cordell's point, you get what you picture. So you have to be careful about what you say.
So, yeah, I would never talk bad. I would never talk bad. I would never talk bad about the dating scenario, dating world. Mama Garnett, let me talk myself.
Next question, period.
But no, I would never talk bad about the dating world or being single and dating in 2020 because I'm out here too. So I'm not going to be talking about myself. If I say that everyone out here is trash, I'm literally talking about myself too. And, I'm not going to be. I think that's really kind of just a skewed way of looking at it. And you set yourself up when you do that, in my opinion.
Mama said on to the next question.
Mama Garnett is, you know what? We're going to do that because I still want you to cook for me when you get out here.
So the next question is, do Black men feel valued by Black women? Ricky?
I would say, personally, me, yes. I can look back over like my life and every pivotal moment in my life where great decisions were made. There were Black women there pushing me and feeding into me. So I mean, I would say I've always felt love from Black women.
Yeah, for sure.
Amen.
You nasty. To be honest,
we all should be honest always.
It's a little 50-50. Sometimes it's a little 60-40 in the negative. I'm not gonna lie, because there's 50% that make a lot of Black men, me included, I ain't even dating them or nothing, pay for some of the things that other Black men have done. And sometimes we are addressing and answering for stuff that other Black men have done, and we already said, like, no, they was trash for doing it. But we still on punishment for what they've done, and it's always guilty until proven innocent stance. Mm-hmm. So it always sways where it puts us in a position where it feels like you have to win them over, which can sometimes be exhausting. Like, I got to win you over to prove that we're different and all of that. And so that I've experienced, and especially being a Black man who talks about love, I think that probably puts us out there to get it a little bit more. Because even my wife and I, when I was speaking at an event, an older Black lady leaned over to my wife and was like, he talking all that about love, but is he that way at home? You know what I mean? It's like, dog, can you give somebody the benefit of the doubt? So yeah, it's a lot of that. And it's no matter how much we do to show like, hey, we're there, we're supporting you, we call people out on their stuff. It's like, it's not enough. And it sometimes make you feel defeated. Like, what else do you want me to do? Jump out of a parachute and I don't know. What else do we need to do to show that, one, we are the standard, we're not the anomaly. Mm-hmm. And there are several great men who don't subscribe to those types of processes. It really is frustrating sometimes. And even for me, somebody who's married, same wife, with the same kids, all of that. And you still have to address for stuff that you're not even a part of. My brothers are the same way. Mm-hmm. My friends are the same way. And they're like, no, it's just you. Like, no, I can literally count several. It's several of us who are not like that. It's several men who speak out. But for some strange reason, I'm not even sure if I don't know what it is, but you feel like what you're doing is never enough. So, yeah. It's about 50-50, and then sometimes it goes 60-40. In the summer, it's like 60-40 for me.
In the summer?
Yeah, because in the summer, there's more people out. In the winter, it's good, 10%.
I have a thought on that. Because in a lot of the homes, and not all homes, but in a lot of homes, they were fatherless. And like you said, 50%. So not all homes were fatherless, just like, unfortunately, people do feel like everybody grew up a single family, just a mom. But a lot of de-edification of the Black man came from learned behavior in our culture, unfortunately, because of the fact that they were not present oftentimes in the home. It could have been whatever the situation. And so I think we as Black women do have to understand and learn how to nurture and culture the edification of the Black man. Because of the fact, I think it's learned. I think we've learned. It's kind of a joke, though. It's kind of like we do it as a joke sometimes, like where you sit around in a circle and the women are talking about the stupid things that their husband did or their boyfriend or just whatever. Or even sometimes when he walks in the room, it's like, that. And I think, it would be valuable. I have had this conversation with, a couple of ladies to just really focus on edifying all people, number one, but edifying the Black man. Because I do believe there's a culture of de-edification that's been learned from some people's circumstances.
Before you answer, Black men got to stop asking based on women that don't like them specifically. Because she don't like you don't mean never mind, it's individual. Sean said he'll have no fury like a woman scorned. Adrian put the exclamation points up. Asking questions is fair. Even if you're great, we're asking questions. And I agree with Jay. For me, it's about 50-50 battle with Black women and women in general. Sometimes no matter what you do in a relationship, the male can't do enough. We love you, but you catching a side eye, that's love too. What makes men feel undervalued and what can men do to change that? What can women do to change that? Whew. I'm gonna stop there because it's a lot of, I'm gonna come back to that. Okay. Learned behaviors come from both ends. I don't think that's a man's place to answer for the last man. That's where we women have to do our own healing. All women are not the same, agrees with him. She dropped the mic. I think that is how Black people feel to some degree. It also goes back to the colorism conversation. Women have to find value in themselves.
That's my wife.
Yeah, that is your wife. I'm about to say, I know that name. I seen it. I heard before. It was on your profile. I think we can start by listening to understand and not to respond. Man. Okay, so y'all want to tackle these questions real quick? Because this will be the last question.
I think you got to go with love languages. I mean, not everybody feels and receives love and value the same way. Like some people may be gifts, like, giving them things makes them feel valued when you're in that relationship. For me, I know it's words of affirmation. So someone, like my wife telling me, good things, or telling me that she's proud of the things that I'm doing here in the house and around, that is how I feel valued. So if you're going at somebody, this could be man or woman, and you're not speaking that same language, you're not giving them what they're looking for, they're not feeling that value. And you could be genuinely trying to give it, but they just don't feel that way. Like, you can give me a lot of gifts and I wouldn't feel the value from that. But just you telling me how good I am here and how I impact your life, that's how I feel valued.
Yeah, what makes men feel undervalued? That's a really specific question. And I mean, we can say some things, but really asking the man that you are, are with, or even that you're really talking about, asking them specifically, directly, I think is the best way to get that actual answer. Because like Ricky said, it's different for everybody. It's different for every man. All men aren't the same. Even if it's a group of men who have the same answer, there's going to be a whole lot of other men who have a different answer. So making men feel valued or undervalued looks different to other men. It looks different to each man. So as far as what can women do to change that, I would say, aside from really inquiring and being honestly concerned and listening, is finding a sort of balance and taking some action in that direction. That's what I would say to that. And as far as, do I feel valued by Black women? I actually have never had a period in my life where I did not feel valued and loved by Black women. I mean, I have, of course, grew up around Black women that were at times, stern, of course, even sometimes damaging to me. That being said, there was never a time where I didn't feel loved by Black women. And even now, Black women that are out in the world that I'm not related to by blood, or I'm not super close to, I realize that there are Black women out there who don't like Black men, just straight up and down. Like one of the points that Terry was making, just straight up, just don't like Black men for whatever reason, they don't. And I recognize that. And I don't hold that against I don't hold that against other Black men. I just recognize, just like there are Black men who cannot stand Black women for whatever reason. And us as Black men, we ask women to not hold that against the collective, because that is a specific person or a specific group of individuals. I realize that there are some Black women who don't see it for Black men, whether that's something that is short term or always going to be the case, is something that's, that's not really my thing to discern or to really wonder about. But that's something that I don't hold against the collective of Black women. And I do recognize that social media has painted a very damaging picture in a lot of ways that some people buy into. And how I look at it is a lot of times is when I see that kind of stuff on social media, the painting of a broad brush, the generalizations, I look at it as someone getting out either their experience or their frustration. They're just getting out how they feel. And I take it as that. Now, if I see a pattern or if it's always that way, then I say, okay, there's something going on there. But as for me, myself, there's never been a period where I did not feel loved and valued by Black women. And it's also, my last point was be who you surround yourself with too. I don't surround myself with Black women who have something negative to say about Black men or just Black people or anybody all the time. If they have issues, they have issues. They have something they want to get out, then okay. But I don't surround myself with Black women that have something to say about Black men that's negative all the time, because that's gonna just put my spirit and my energy right in the dumps. So I don't do that. So if that's the kind of person that they are, I won't be around them, and I'm not going to subscribe to that narrative, because that's not my life, and that's not how I choose to, conduct myself or surround myself when I'm out in the world or just being around my people. I don't choose that.
Well, I'm just going to address the little elephant in the room. I get how that could be a specific question, but truth be told, if I use love as a parable experiences, we get this all the time, where women come to us and ask, why Black men don't protect Black women? And you're like, what you think we doing? Yeah. That really makes the work that we do feel undervalued. And there's nothing that you can really say about it, because we arguing with the brothers about certain stuff, because some people feel like we too much of a womanist. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, and then we done severed ties with certain people because they do have certain ideologies we don't subscribe to and we just can't get with. And then when somebody come and say, why you Black men don't protect us? Why you Black men don't hold other Black men accountable? Not seeing the work that we do and making blanket statements is the biggest form of disrespect and does make us feel undervalued. It really does. And then when we have an organization that you can go back and look at some videos and look at the topics, like skim through them, find one and see before coming and say, you know what y'all should talk about? Like, we talk about it. I promise you we talk about it. We talk about it. I promise you. Almost every week. Those things make us feel undervalued. Now, right, yes, there are some specific things about a relationship, and those things are different. But there are some generalized statements that we men under the umbrella, that all Black men have to deal with. Just like you can fight for saying we got to stop the profiling and things like that. It's still a profiling of Black men from a Black woman's perspective, and we do need to address that. And I do agree with Rashia, just like men have to confront men to end misogyny, there is misandry that women need to confront women on stopping, and that conversation doesn't happen enough. We rarely see women talk about misandry, but it happens all the time. So that's one thing. If you want an informative answer, make sure you did some investigating before coming to that person asking those questions, because your very question can be more offensive than what it is behind whatever it was. And I don't think that happens enough. What can we do to change that? Sometimes realize the person that you're talking to. That is not above or anything like that, but you don't know. It has been literally days that we have been completely drained from talking to people. And guess what happened? Somebody come and say, well, why don't y'all?
Yeah, bro's absolutely right.
Miss Sister, can we talk about this next week? Be like, Miss Sister, can you just leave?
Or when they ask what are men doing and we say we have love's a parable, we point them in direction. They say, well, what are y'all doing specifically, or what do y'all do? Well, you should find out.
Oh, my favorite. Well, y'all don't count. Y'all different. Wow, that just take all the value that I had as a man and throw it out the darn window.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are like a lot of those things, and though they really do happen.
Yeah.
They really do happen a lot.
Yeah, bro's absolutely right. I didn't touch on that, and it's probably better because he said it way better than I probably would have. Way better than I probably would have. But yeah, that's true too. The blanket statements, the generalizations, you know, as a whole, those I can say that's one probably solid thing that makes black men as a whole feel undervalued are just the broad strokes and the just all y'all trash, all y'all this, none of y'all do this, none of that. How are we supposed to get anywhere with that? How?
Yep, and then men on parenting. You know, that's my pet peeve. When that old lady tried to take my baby, talking about y'all don't know nothing about no babies. And then make comments where you just a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I already know, bro. I already know. Joy, we talking it to the ground because it always comes up. And we never shy away from anything. So we'll address it every time it comes up. Don't worry about it.
Right. Well, we done talked well over 6 minutes, over an hour. And we got to talk about it because we advocate for men.
Yeah.
Just like we advocate for women. But
right.
This is a show to uplift men. And there are countless men who do feel undervalued by women.
Yeah.
And they are afraid to speak out because they feel like people going to, rip their head off.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have the conversation.
Yep, for sure.
I need to feel valued by you, Joey. So this is the time where we do positive brother shout out, where we acknowledge brothers who are making positive strides in the community, doing something. Those brothers that probably don't get recognized often because they are working and can't be engaged and are trying to do a lot of things. So, Kimberly, give your positive brother shout out.
Well, I have to shout you all out first, and thank you for the invitation. So, even if I wasn't on here, I always shout out Brother Empowerment and you and Cordell and all the fellas involved with Love is a Parable. And my brothers, actually, my brother Brian, my brother Timothy, and my brother Chris, all doing great things in the community. So I'm going to keep it close to home and shout them out. And that's it. Just all the fellas who are out here doing amazing work, really uplifting communities and serving. I shout you all out.
Word. Definitely appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Ricky
is on you.
All right, I'm gonna keep it close to home too. Right before the pandemic started, my brother Jemian Phillips opened a gym, Upstage Fitness in Greenville, North Carolina, and he's been going through a lot, as you know, with a lot of the gyms, but he has been keeping it going. And whether it's been helping his clients out online or figuring out creative ways to get them to get workouts in, shout out to my brother Jemian and all the things to keep people healthy and fit. Upstage Fitness, Greenville, North Carolina. If you're in that area, check him out.
Most definitely. Throw a link in the comments too later on, Ricky.
We'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Yep. I definitely want to shout out the super dads like Deshaun, man. I think about Deshaun who be handling. He made me be like, "Ooh, I need to go do something with my girls." Cause I be like, "Oh, we competing now, Deshaun? We competing?"
Man.
And then you get Ricky. He done built the whole arc with his kids, and I'm like, "Oh, we really competing? Like, how you built that whole arc in like 30 minutes?" It was like a whole bunch of wood, and the next thing I know, it's a whole arc and sail and everything. 30 minutes later, he like done, and the kids drinking lemonade and stuff. I'm like, "How you do that?" You be lying. I don't know what kind of super dash y'all are, but yeah. So definitely you guys, and I think that we do need to have something. Well, we do have a couple of groups where it's fathers that unite and encourage one another. But I would say Ricky and Deshaun, man, y'all encourage me even more, because sometimes when you running a business, you do feel like you're like neglecting your kids, and it plays with your mind a little bit. And then when you see that, you like, see, yep, I'm really a horrible dad. Let me go play with my kids. Yeah. So it encourages you a lot as a father to like step your game up. So I thank you guys. And I have to thank my brother, Cordell, man, for all of this, man. We've been doing this. November will be 2 years that we've been doing Brother Empowerment. We just had 3 years of Love is a Parable. And so I thank you, man, for being there every step of the way. It was because of Kim that I met you at her function, you know, at the art bar. And she connected us. And so that's another thing, like, sidebar, a lot of people don't know, like, Kim has really helped us in a lot of areas. And Kim is somebody that I will say that we've earned each other's friendship, because we had to develop trust. We had to fight a lot of days, a lot of nights, and a lot of days we fought for this. Oh man! And I thank you for always like holding your ground, and we were able to come to where like we really knew each other because of that. But you brought me such great people like this guy. Even though he was a Leo, next time do a little bit better with your Leo equations when you connect it.
Still is a Leo.
It's
respectful. He was a Leo.
Oh, what?
He's trying to take your Leo status away.
He's a Cancer.
I'm a what?
He's a post-Cancer.
I'm a I'm a proud August Leo. Don't know.
He's a post-Cancer pre-Virgo. So so my brother, who I actually spoke to a lot of my brothers this week. So thank you, brothers, for checking in. My older brother, Daryl, Vincent, Rodney, Tramel, and Mike, and Andre. Thank you guys for being dope brothers, being there for me. Terrence, thanks for doing your thing in the community. Deshaun, thank you for making time for Brother Empowerment. And you all the way in California, and you make it your business to at least pop in. And I definitely thank you, Sean, all of you guys. I really do appreciate you guys for making a difference. And thank you for being light in your community and light and even in my lives. So guys, like we tell everybody every week, if you feel like that there's nobody in this world. Oh, you went?
No.
You ain't go?
Skip right over me. Ricky, he was going to end the show just I mean, I was gonna let it rock as it is later, but you know what I'm saying?
You did that to me one time.
No, I didn't. I never have, because I always go and then you go last. I don't even remember that.
You close it out.
I'm playing. I remember that.
You like MC.
I'm gonna be quick though, but no, really.
I'm sorry, brother.
No, that's all good, man.
I apologize for disrespecting you and undervaluing you on this show that you helped create.
No, bro. First and foremost, I always shout out my brother Jay, because he's right. He said he wouldn't have done it without me, but I would have done it without him, because he's the one who pitched the initiative even after we got challenged by Dion. He was the one who said, man, I want to do this. And I said, hey, man, whatever you want to do, I'm there. So really wouldn't be doing this without each other. So I definitely got to shout him out. And just because it's been a crazy journey, and it feels like we've been on the journey for 10 years already, but it's only been 2 or 3, depending on what you're talking about. And so we have plenty more to go. So I definitely got to shout out my brother. And I also will shout out, one thing that's on my mind was all the brothers out there who have to go out into the world for their line of work and be in these hazardous conditions, and then come home and balance that with being with their families and switch modes when they get home. You know, I definitely want to shout out y'all, because I know that's not an easy thing to do. There's quite a few people working from home, but there are certain things that you can't do from home.
Yep.
You know, if you have one of those services, like if you work for the postal service, UPS, if you work in sanitation, you work in building, you're an electrician, healthcare, any of those things, and you have to actually go on site and do things, be around people, be in the elements. I shout out to y'all, man, because that's a different, especially during this time, that's a different type of pressure that you have to cope with, and then go home and not have to, but you go home and you switch to father mode. You know, so shout out to y'all brothers. And I also want to shout out, like the bro said, to the dads on here, Ricky, Deshaun, Kerwin, Keon, who's not on here right now, my man Keon. Shout out to you guys just because, and not just because you guys are brothers and your dads, but also because, you know, a lot of the followers all the followers that I know that I talk to, none of them are complaining. You know, it's none of them are talking about, well, I got the kids now, the kids are doing this. Like my man Keon, he's got 2 boys, and I've never heard him really complain about having his kids with him, what they're doing or how they get on his nerves. It's just, he always is very positive. Now I know that having children is not a walk in the park, but I appreciate brothers, especially when, like the brother Jay said, when people portray men as being incompetent parents. I definitely appreciate and I look up to fathers who just make it look so effortless and make it look so easy. Like, you know, I don't think I've ever even seen Jay, you know, get really loud with his girls. He's corrected them, but he's corrected them, but he's never yelled at them or anything like that. And so I just want to shout out your brothers, because that is something that's goals for me, because I hope to be a father one day. And I don't want to be one of those parents who is walking around, you know, ornery or like, man, this is like, I don't want to be one of those parents. So it's good to see examples of that now. So I know that I know what that looks like. So shout out to y'all, but that's all I got.
You might as well close it out too. Go ahead. Roll that.
All right. So as we say every week, if you don't feel you have anybody who loves you or anyone who cares about you, you have just met 4 people who do.
Oh, let me do Cordell.
Yeah, I miscounted like 3 weeks in a row. But you have 4 people who do, who you have open access to, that you can reach out to and talk to, who do care and who do love you. So thank you for all for staying with us and supporting, and we love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right, see y'all later.
Thank you all. See
ya.